Hi there. I'd love to tell you about Tavern Masters. It's my new game from Dan Chris Games. That's me. We made Tavern Masters because we've always loved being the adventurer, going into the tavern after the adventure's done. But what about that Tavern Master? Well, now's your chance to find out what it's like to be that Tavern Master, providing drinks, ale, mead, food, games, and entertainment to all the many adventurers, workers, and others that come into your tavern. Let's take a moment to talk about the setting. Tavern Masters is set in DKG's World of Destiny. It's a wonderful high fantasy world where magic abounds, and it's during the golden age of the Kingdom of Eldaron that maintains the stewardship over all the settled lands above, full of many exciting characters and people and races and beings, magic, dragons, halflings, dwarves, elves, orcs, goblins, and they're not all taking the normal stereotyped roles. You'll find people of all walks of life doing all kinds of interesting things. In the World of Destiny, we hope to give everyone a familiar setting, a place that feels like home to every player, no matter who they may be or where they may come from, to find their own favorite fantasy, to live exciting new adventures with their friends and family. Eldaron is a kingdom experiencing a golden age because of the peace that has been maintained by the many peoples that make up the kingdom. Tavern Masters takes place in the village of Redstaff, a booming new community just south of the Northern Sea in the Ironcrest Hills region of northern Eldaron. The new roads have come through, and there's lots of new thirsty patrons looking for a place to hang their hat and eat a hot meal. And so you, as the Tavern Master, will be providing them just that. Tavern Masters can be played either cooperatively, competitively, or even solo. Tavern Masters is a game for 1 to 6 players, ages 14 and up. Tavern Masters is an immensely fun game. It's a great little engine builder in which you get to run the tavern, keep your patrons happy, and earn a lot of gold to try and be the best tavern keeper in the village of Redstaff. Give me just a moment and we'll show you how it's played. But first, let's talk about the wonderful components of this game. Beautiful box, wonderful art, and a good sturdy construct too. We made sure to use the best ingredients available that we could manage to afford. Got your rules booklet here, the handy little cheat sheet on the back. It's got the challenge chart on the back for if you're playing solo or cooperative mode. It's got your general day and night phase flow through. Then you have the icons of the different NPC types and card types over here, as well as the pictures of the gold and what they stand for. And then you have tokens. We went with a great thick cardboard, good quality components so that they punch out very easily. You don't have to worry about anything ripping or tearing. I mean, no one wants to get a coin where you're going to have to worry about like some kind of paper tear or ruining the surface of the coin. So in the game you get 60 gold pieces, actually 63, we had room to put a few extra on there, and then 10 of the Eldarian dragons, which are the 10 gold pieces. On the final punch board, you have the server token, and then the final 2 round tokens. Of course, the rounds are double-sided. And then you have these 4 little cheat cards, and those, again, on these have the flow-through of the day and night phases, and on the back have the symbols to let you know what the NPCs' different types are. Now inside you have the different cards. You have 2 decks, the Tavern deck and the Patron deck. Now when you actually first open the box, these will be nicely sealed in their little compartments over here. And there's even little baggies to put the different tokens in once you've punched them out. I believe in providing good storage for your opponents. Also, if you like the coins, while these cardboard coins are very nice, we went ahead and took the trouble to make some metal coin sets, just for those of you who, like us, love coins. So, get a metal coin set, have lots of good, solid metal in your hands to play with. These aren't cheap coins either. These are good, thick, high-quality coins, wonderful renderings. On the front we have the current king during the year the Tavern Masters takes place in our World of Destiny, or King Mygar III. On the back you have the royal seal of Eldaron. And then on the 10 gold coins you have Xeronoth the dragon, who was driven many centuries ago off of Mount Destiny, so that the humans, the elves, the dwarves, and the other people of Eldaron could live above ground safely without the dragons threatening them anymore. Now on the back, you have the 3 crowns accord, symbolized by the 3 crowns linked over Mount Destiny, and of course a 10 to show you that these are 10 gold coins. The metal just makes it so much more fun to play with. Also, it should be noted that in the base game of Tavern Masters, whether you're playing competitively or cooperatively, there are no take-that cards that do some negative effect to your other players, and trading is encouraged. This is to promote a more peaceful play style. However, if you're one of those players that really just likes a good challenge and likes to play more PvP, have more take-that cards to play against your opponents, and they like the same, then you can just get the Dirty Deeds expansion. That adds in that take-that element where you can drop a sack of rats in the back of an opponent's tavern, so they have to discard a food at random, but only if you have a thug, or you might have a guard NPC, a soldier from your tavern, play a false arrest to go arrest some thug from their tavern. You also have the Games of Chance expansion, which adds in dice and a dice rolling mechanic for a few certain cards in here that just give you a nice fun random effect. It's just a fun little mini expansion for the game. And recently we actually just completed our Kickstarter for our bigger Dockside expansion that adds in all kinds of fun new elements to the game. But now, let's talk about gameplay itself. Tavern Masters is an engine building card game where you are building your tableau, as it were, which is your tavern. You're building it every round, adding new items, drinks, food, games, to draw in more patrons who are going to pay you more gold based on what you have. And then certain combos can help you earn even more gold. Now, whenever you're playing, if you're playing head-to-head, then any round that ends when a player has 20 or more gold, the game's over, and whoever has the most gold wins. However, if you're playing cooperatively, then you'll choose a number of rounds, just like you will if you're playing solo, and you'll have that number of rounds for every player to have earned 20 or more gold before that round is over. During your day phase, you're going to draw 3 tavern cards. Now, the first round, you'll actually draw 4 tavern cards, as will each other player, and then you'll draft the cards, picking one and passing the rest, picking another one, passing the rest, on the first round. And that'll help you kind of choose how you want to start your tavern. And then you'll be using the 3 gold you start the game with to put those cards into play from your hand. Turns are taken simultaneously during each phase of the round. So while you're playing your day phase, all the other players are playing their day phase. And once everyone's finished with their day activities, then you'll move on to the night phase, at which point you'll be drawing your patrons. You'll draw 3 patrons every round, be dealt to you by the server, and then you'll be able to play them based on what you have in your tavern. So if you have an ale patron and you have ale in your tavern, then you can play that patron to your tavern. Or really, if you have a patron that wants any drink, and you have any drink at all in your tavern, you can play that patron. And whatever a patron wants is what they count as. So a patron that wants ale is counted as an ale patron, while a patron that wants any drink is counted as an any drink patron. Some patrons may want food, others may want games. After you've taken your night phase, you'll move on to counting the till. That is, unless you're playing with the Dirty Deeds expansion. If you're using the Dirty Deeds expansion, you'll have an extra phase called the Dirty Deeds phase. Now that phase will actually be taken with each player taking their turn in order, starting with the player to the left of the server. Now these Dirty Deed cards are just ways to do nasty things to the other players' taverns and whatnot to help you get an edge or help knock them down a peg or two. Once everyone's taken their Dirty Deed phase, then you move on to the Counting the Till phase. But if you're not using Dirty Deeds, you'll just move straight to Counting the Till. That's when each player counts up all their gold for the round and gets their totals, and then discards all of their patrons. Now, patrons are discarded every night at the end of the round after counting the till, except some patrons have what's called a like. So some patrons might like games or like entertainers. And if you have any of those things in your tavern, then you'll be able to keep those patrons until the next round, where they'll stay and pay you gold again. So those are the basics of how to play Tavern Masters. Let's get into a quick little round. I've brought my friend Phil along to help me, and we're going to play a single round of Tavern Masters so you can kind of see how the game flows and how it goes. Back into Flash. So now we're going to play a round of Tavern Masters to show you what it's like. I'll be the server for this round, so that means I'm going to be the dealer. And we're using the fun metal coins because they're just great to play with. we're each going to start with 3 gold.
Thanks, Dan.
Sure thing, Phil. Here we go. We've already shuffled these decks very thoroughly. And I'm going to deal out 4 cards to each of us on the first round. Every round after that, you'll only get 3. But these first 4, we're going to draft, and it's going to help us set our tavern kind of flavor for the game.
During the draft, the most important thing you're looking to get is drinks with a cost of 2 or less gold. You want to start with at least one of those so that you have the best chance of having a successful tavern.
But of course, even if you can't, it still doesn't mean you haven't got a shot, because we've seen games where you can come back from all kinds of unlucky draws to win the game. So now we're going to begin our first day phase. I am actually going to be paying 2 gold to play an Elven Wine. And then I'll be able to play my Troubadour, because while he costs 1 gold to hire, I can hire him for free if I have any wine, which the Elven Wine counts as wine. So now I have an entertainer. I'm also going to spend 1 more gold to buy a Rock Bottom Ale.
I'm going to spend 2 gold to buy this King's Ale, which I believe will let me play this entertainer for free, correct?
Any ale.
Yep, any ale. So I'm able to get myself a Village Juggler. And then I'm going to spend this other gold, buy an apple wine, so I can start with 2 drinks. Feel good about this hand.
So now we move on to the night phase. That's when each of us is going to get 3 patron cards. Now hopefully, we'll be able to play some of the patrons based on what we've stocked in our tavern for the day. Now, of course, these things will stay forever. They don't go away at night, just the patrons, unless they have something you like. Now, in my patron draw, I got a noble, the captain of the guard. Nobles are a special type of patron. You can only play them if you have a card that lets you play nobles, like the mutton or the aged brandy. I don't have that, so I won't be able to play the noble this round. But I do have an ale, so I could play the warrior maiden. Now, she's going to let me play me 1 soldier patron from my hand, or the patron discard this round, except there's no soldiers in the patron discard. However, as luck would have it, my noble is the captain of the guard. He is a soldier, so while I normally couldn't play him, the warrior maiden's going to bring him along for a drink. Since I don't have a mead, I won't be able to play my apprentice mage. How did you fare?
I'm in a similar position. 2 of my patrons are mead patrons, so I won't be able to play them. However, this scholar is a wine patron, and he likes entertainers.
And you have an entertainer.
So he's going to be a friend of mine for the rest of this game.
Well, that's awesome. So now, if we were playing with Dirty Deeds, we would have the Dirty Deeds phase. And we would each, in the first round, draw 3 Dirty Deeds cards. And then you get 1 Dirty Deeds card every round after that. They also add to your hand size. And there's a hand limit of 5 cards. So at the end of the round, you have to discard down to 5 cards of whatever mix of tavern cards, patron cards, and Dirty Deeds you have. Now, if you're using the Dirty Deeds expansion, that actually increases your hand size by your hand limit by 1. So we're going to count the till. That's when we count up how much gold we get, and then see if either of us has ended the game yet. So I'm going to get 1 gold from the warrior maiden and 2 gold from the captain of the guard, because nobles pay you 2 gold.
And I'm going to get 1 gold from my scholar.
Now, at the end of the round, my patrons are going to be discarded. However, his patron, the scholar, is going to stay thanks to his entertainer, the village juggler. But that's how Tavern Masters is played. We'd love for you to play it yourself, so you can give it a try if you like. Let us know, and we'll help make that happen. In the meantime, thanks for taking a look at our game and taking a look at the world of Destiny, this first little foray into it. We've got many more exciting things in store, plus some very exciting new expansions for Tavern Masters, both coming out soon and in the works for later. Hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully you give it a try very soon, because we know that you'll love it just as much as we do. Thanks. I should mention, too, that the soundtrack you've been listening to this whole time is actually from the official Tavern Masters soundtrack, Songs of the Tavern, that we had made specifically for Tavern Masters. As a matter of fact, each song on the soundtrack is also a song card in the song deck featured in the new Dockside expansion that's currently in production and slated to come out in the second quarter of 2019. So, very exciting stuff on the horizon. In the meantime, kick back, serve a few drinks, have a few laughs, and keep earning that gold. Have a good one.